Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for waiting. If you would put in the chat box what chapter you're from. Our speaker has not arrived yet. She's having some technical difficulty, but she should be here momentarily. If you don't mind, put your chapters in the chat box. We're glad everyone's on tonight. I do see that we have some special guests on here tonight too. I see Dr. Hilda Richards. Dr. Hilda Richards, could you take yourself off mute and say good evening to us? We're so honored that you're here tonight.
Well, I'm so honored. I didn't get the email till today to see, I haven't seen Betty in a long time, and I'm looking forward to talking to her. I was the president that followed her, and of course she found the whole thing. She just wasn't a president. So I'm pleased to be here. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I see Brenda, Dr. Tony.
Yeah, I see Dr. Tony on. I want her to greet the group. Dr. Tony, do you mind saying a few words to the group?
Well, it's just her picture,
No, she's here. She's there.
Yeah, Good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited as well to hear Dr. Betty come on and talk. Hi, Hilda. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a long time. For those that don't know, I was the 10th president of NBNA, so glad to be here.
And a good one. And a good one.
And I see Dr. Deidre Walton on. Deidre?
Good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Who are you talking
to? Good evening, everyone. I am so excited to join this evening and hearing the voices of all of you and saying greetings to those that I follow, whose shoulders that I stand on. God bless everyone.
Oh, very good.
Thank you so much, Deidre. At this time, I'm going to ask our co-chair of chapter development, Ms. Tammy Woods, to say good evening to us.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to see so many people online tonight as we wait on Dr. Smith-Williams to join us. Just thank you for joining us tonight.
Is Dr. Latoya Freeman on yet? That's our co-chair of member benefits.
I am here. Hello, good evening, everyone. I bring you greetings from Ann Arbor National Black Nurses Association. Agreed, excited to see you all here, excited to hear the wisdom from Dr. Smith-Williams. So really excited to get this kicked off and going.
Well, Judy, you disappeared right away. Maybe you're on the next page. I just wanted to say hello.
Hello there. I don't know what page I'm on, but it's really good.
Yeah, I know. Let me see. Let me go to the second page and see. I don't know. Well, these things were wonderful, but they don't always work. Oh, we're good. We're having a lot of people. All right, let me go back to the beginning. Maybe I'll see you there again. Oh, I see Evelyn, Chicago person.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, Dr. Tanya Dixon. Just keep chatting. I'm trying to help Dr. Betty get on, so I'm doing a dual role. I'm determined to get her on.
And Evelyn is so helpful to me. I want to just thank you.
You're more
there.
Than...
Now I see you. Technology is wonderful when it works.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Oh, God.
Well, then we have the challenge when we become super seniors that it's even more challenging.
because I hope she's all right.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of the seniors and she's older than me, right?
And I'm a super senior too, so.
We got some great office people and they're working to get her on. So we will keep moving on and we're gonna do something until she gets on. So what we wanted
I'm
to
on.
She's
Hello.
on. Yes, yes, yes,
Trying to
yes.
get on.
I'm excited. Yes, touchdown.
Well, hi there. How you doing?
Can you show us your face or are you
Hilda,
gonna?
what?
It's not
Uh,
showing.
You can't see my face? Oh,
No,
okay.
ma'am. But that's all. Now you cut off your. There you are. Yes.
Yeah,
Now
she
turn
was
your
waiting for
volume
my
back
class
on.
to end.
Turn your volume back on. Turn your microphone back on.
Unmute.
All right, there she is. So it is well worth the wait, Dr. Betty Smith Williams.
I don't know where it is. Is the
You're
microphone
good.
on?
You're good.
You're good.
You're good. Just hold what you got. You're good.
Okay, you got it. Well, great. Thank you.
So I'm so honored. We got about 97 people on here tonight, and I'm so excited. I wish that we were in person. I could reach over and hug you and hold your hand. You're such an inspiration to me and to all of us on the call tonight and the entire membership. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know how busy you are to work with us tonight, and the membership committee appreciates you so much. Before you got on, we honored some of the other past presidents, Dr. Hilda Richards, Dr. Deidre Walton, and Dr. Deborah Tony.
Who else is on?
Dr. Hilda and Dr. Deborah Tony and
Yeah,
Dr. Walton. So we want to thank them for taking time out of their busy schedule.
I haven't seen Dawson yet. Where's she hiding?
Oh yeah, Dr. Dawson is on there. Dr. Martha Dawson, I see her.
She's
There she is.
I don't see her.
Okay, so this is Black History Month, and we wanted to do something to honor Black History Month, and we are standing on some tall shoulders in our profession. And Dr. Betty Smith Williams is one of those individuals. You are indeed a legend and a great inspiration to all of us. So let's get started. And I want to know, how did it feel and what were some of the struggles being the first Black nurse at a major university such as Case Western?
Being the first Black nurse at Case Western, I was, do you enlarge my picture or is it coming through? Can everybody hear me? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, we can.
We can hear
Okay,
you.
good, that's fine.
There
Yeah,
you are. How's
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I don't have, you're here and I'm trying to see. I don't have a sense of myself in that. That's what I was trying to feel. When I went to Case Western Reserve, I had graduated from Howard University and had been there for 4 years and had a wonderful, wonderful time, majored in zoology and everything else. What do they call it when you're a teenager and you major in all the things that go on at college?
You hadn't found yourself yet.
What?
You hadn't found yourself yet.
I hadn't found myself. I was pre-med and when I was at Howard, and I had intended to pursue that, and I was doing a lot of other things also. So the question of going to Case Western Reserve, let me first say to you that I had never had a Black teacher until I went to Howard. And so those 4 years being in that environment and with all those wonderful people, I was, so when I went to Case, I knew that I was the only Black student there, but I didn't really, it didn't make any difference. I used to all those white teachers and all other stuff, and the kids and everything. So, and I was maybe a little more grown by then than some of those who were beginning. So it really just continued on a life that I had lived like all my life in high school, with whites and blacks and white teachers. That's the way I grew up. And so case did not make a difference in that sense. I had my own community the Black community in Cleveland, who I was aware of. My sister lived there, and I got to know people there. So I would go to, my social life was associated with the Black community, not with Case Western. I lived in the dormitory. We had single rooms and had our own thing. I had some friends there, and they tried real hard to find me a boyfriend. and they succeeded.
Oh, wow.
So all those years is interesting because my classmates had gone to school at Miami University, and they knew one Black architect down there, and he ended up being my husband.
Wow.
So,
That is a story. So I understand that they honored you in 2024. How did that make you feel?
honored me. They were celebrating their 100th anniversary of the school, and I was just on a panel with two or three other people who were talking about their experiences, Blacks in that school. So it wasn't any. I had really always already been honored by having received the award as the alumni. I have a most distinguished alumni award that I received several years ago from them.
Oh, okay. Now what was your first job, Dr. Betty?
My first job, I was a visiting nurse at the Cleveland Visiting Nurses Association. When we took community health there, we did it in the Visiting Nurses Association, and I enjoyed that activity. And so when um, I got a job after I graduated, I went to work there, and I worked there for about 9 months before I moved to California.
So was
And
that job sort of was it by choice, or was it what was available at the time?
no, it was by choice.
By choice.
I
Okay.
selected to go to the Visiting Nurses Association. I had all kinds of experiences. I had fun. We did our clinical work in school at the Visiting Nurses Association. So I had made some contacts. I knew people who worked for them, and I liked the kind of thing. In fact, my master's work was done with some babies that were sent home postpartum, and to the visiting nurses would follow them as a follow-up home visit, premature babies, and I had done some special work with that as on my master's. See, because I got a master's from Case, at that point, I did not get another bachelor's. I already had a bachelor's in zoology. And so
Mhm.
when I graduated, I got a master's in nursing, an MN.
Okay. So from the visiting nurses, what was your next step? What was your next path?
I was moved to California. My next job was with the health department, the Los Angeles City Health Department,
Okay.
where I was a public health nurse. And at that point, I it was interesting to go into the official agency, which of course the health department has different responsibilities than a BNA. And also I met people who were teaching nursing students. And I was exposed to some of that. And it was directly because they met me there, and I had the kind of experience and background that they needed at Mount St. Mary's College, then who were looking for a faculty so they could be accredited as the School of Nursing. The National League for Nursing was coming for accreditation, and they hired me then to teach. That's how I became the first Black to teach in the state of California. in 1956 because they were trying to get accredited by NLN. I had a master's degree and I was there and I could do their public health nursing.
Okay, that's very interesting. So you mentioned your master's degree. So can you talk about what led you to seek those advanced degrees? What was the motivation or?
Well, I had got a master's from Case Western when I graduated. When I became a nurse, I got a master's in nursing. Okay. That was the title of the degree. I had a bachelor's in zoology before, and then they had added on and made a master's in nursing program. So the next step I took was later on, in a few years later, I went to UCLA and I got a master's, another master's in public health nursing. And I got it from UCLA, and I did, at that time, I had been teaching public health for 4 or 5 years by then, and I was interested in increasing my knowledge base and skills, and also getting stronger, more strongly prepared for a teaching career because I was interested and I was at UCLA. That's when we started the local group of the Black nurses. I was at UCLA. We had gone there and met a few more friends. We did not know. One thing I will say that I need to say to you is that growing up in that environment, I did not know Black nurses. I met a few. I met one at the health department when I came out here to work, Barbara Johnson. She had graduated from Mount St. Mary's and she got a job working with the health department, and she and I talked all the time about there are no Black nurses. She was Black, and she ended up being my co-founder of the local Los Angeles Council of Black Nurses. We started in my living room here in 66, that was it. Yeah. But we didn't know each other, and so we got a list of Black people we knew from public health, from psychiatry, from all kind of fields, and it was a broad list of people who were teaching, who were doing a variety of things. 10 people came to the house, none of whom really knew each other well, but who were all educated and practicing in other fields.
So when you got your PhD, what was the span of years? Because a lot of times people ask you, how long did you wait, or how long did it take? And
well, what did I do then? When I got my doctorate in public health, I got my doctorate in public health. It was in the late 70s, 78, in fact. I was teaching then on the faculty at UCLA, and I decided to go to the School of Public Health there. I had become assistant dean of this nursing at UCLA in 1969. Reba de Charnier, who was the dean there, she appointed me her assistant dean of student affairs, and then she appointed me assistant dean of academic affairs. And she left the school and left myself and Betty Danbacker, Dr. Danbacker, she and I were running the school at UCLA. That's when I had the wonderful opportunity to then meet a whole lot of wonderful people. Virginia Hunter was on the faculty, and Linda Burns Bolton was just coming in as a graduate student from Arizona. And so I began to work with them from then on. I probably met Hilda then and some other people. But we had connected up by then.
So talk to us a little bit about the founding of NBNA and how vital the decision was to start NBNA.
Well, like I said, we didn't know each other. I mean, I didn't because I had gone, I've been at the white schools and stuff like that. And then the black schools didn't have, I wasn't involved in nursing when I was at Howard. So uh, in order to do what I was interested in, I needed to have a network of blacks. I've always been in clubs and groups and been around black people, worked as a child. I worked in the NACP. I did all kind of stuff. And so I grew up with organizations and saw them as a important thing to get something done. And so to me, it was very important to try and get a network operating. And that's what we were doing. That's what we did, in fact. That's what we have done, in fact, by creating the Black Nurses Organization.
So you are our role model. But who is your biggest role model and why?
My biggest role model is really my mother. A person who you would know. Let me say this first. My mother, who taught school in a one-room schoolhouse in Kansas. She said, don't ever do that. It was a terrible job. She did not encourage any of her daughters to teach, in that kind of level school. But we did not do that. But my mother was very active politically. She was a founding member of the NACP in South Bend. She was an elected person in the Republican clubs back in the 30s when they were all working on all these issues and everything. And she's active in the federated club system. Those of you who are familiar with the Federation Club that Josephine St. Pierre had started out of Boston, and all that Federation Club group was trying to get women organized in the community to help Black people. And she was actively involved in that all of her life. And made speeches and did all kinds of things. And I'm the youngest in the family. And so I used to hear Mother practicing her speeches in the bedroom, getting ready to go to give a speech at a club or whatever program or whatever. She was doing things, and she was active with the I started to say I was a study club, but the Black History program with that they had in the clubs that they had there, and the whole variety of things, as well as the little church groups or whatever. But her focus was really in getting people in putting up money in the NACP. When I was a child, I was around the dining room table and wondered why people were bringing money to the house. And I asked my parents, and they told me that some boys were in trouble. And as over time, I wasn't tall enough to see over the top of a dining room table. So that's how old I was. I found out that's the Scottsboro boys.
Wow.
So that they were raising money for.
Oh.
Yeah, to the Legal Defense Fund for that. And so they were active all the time. I have a picture here of my parents attending the 50th anniversary of the NACP at the Waldorf Astoria in New York in '59. They were active all their lives. And so I had this going on in my background. And that meant that I learned history. I learned Black history. I had books and all kinds of stuff exposed to me, and I learned. And I had more fun I had a lot of girls' friends, and we had girls' clubs, whether they were sewing clubs and so forth. I went to camp, and you do a whole lot of things, and you have a lot of girlfriends. And so I learned how to work with girls and get things done.
So you're an advocate for getting involved. How do we get some of our maybe per se younger nurses more involved?
I wonder what they do. I don't know what they do when the younger people do, not having the privilege of having, you know, a daughter that I've understood and raised in that way. But, you know, like, we got involved. I don't know what they've got so many of these, what should I say, these telephones now and all that junk until people don't know how to relate to people. They're busy doing on this, reading those messages and all that all day long, and they can't even write their name. You know, I mean, when you really think about it, that's pathetic. I look at a little kid trying to sign their name and they haven't even learned how to write it, you know, because we've moved to other approaches.
Electronics. Yes. So where do you see our profession headed? I've been in the nursing profession about almost 40 years.
You
I have been.
I
Almost
think
40
it's that
years.
old.
Dr. Sams was my dean in 1983. I graduated from
83.
Tuskegee Institute in
Uh-huh.
1983. So, yes.
That was a long time
Time
ago.
flies.
Time flies. 83. That's I think about and what was going on in by 83. I had gotten, well, I was dean of the school at the University of Colorado in 1983. We were doing all kinds of things, having fun. But your question basically is, how do you,
Where do you see the profession headed? You know, I know we've got a lot of work to do, a lot more work to do.
yeah, we have a lot of things to do. When you say we, meaning Black nurses and
Black
all
nurses, the
nurses.
nursing profession, yes.
Yeah. You know, because we're the knowledge, we got so much knowledge out there on so many different things. Um, I see a increasing role for nurses and in many opportunities if they use their experiences and maximize them, not to be somebody else, but to be who we are and what we bring best to the table. That's one of the things that maybe if I were to get on a soapbox, I would say that people need to increasingly be aware of what special skills and talents and knowledge that they have that's unique and can be a driving force to make change as versus imitating and being part of some other things that maybe they aren't your stick, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
There's so much out there until, you know, I don't predict that nurses will certainly go out of style. They're not, you know, they're the role for them, if anything, if we look at our history, the role is what? It's increased, hasn't it, for us,
Yes.
for nurses.
Yes, a lot of options, a lot of different areas,
Yeah.
specialties,
Options have
a
increased.
lot of opportunities.
We've learned more. We've had gained in various dimensions so that we have been more skillful and capable. So it's about what's the ceiling, you know, what's the sky is the limit.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, we don't know what's out there for you. And some of the things that you like to do, or you know, and that you do well, and you're comfortable with, and you keep doing, and get satisfaction from. If you're able to get results, then you keep doing them. I don't know what, you know, when you talk about what do younger nurses looking for. You know, we had in growing the National Black Nurses, we've had just wonderful, you know, we've had the cream of the crop of Black nurses in the country to come and work with us and to help us all the time. And when you look at the different inputs and the, you know, that came together, it's really spectacular. The contributions that people were especially able to make to this organization. Um, Hilda's sitting there, and she knows that she's been with us a long time and been a part of what
Yes.
we have been able to create. Her ability to help to start our, well, we had to have our research and have publishing and have an instrument for that, and to do something like that for this organization has just been tremendous. And all the time we were putting a lot of different parts together to.
It's with help from other wonderful people like Ophelia Long.
Oh yeah.
And yes.
And I've been a member since 1995, and when I'm recruiting, I do tell people, the resources that they have with NBNA is priceless. I've met great mentors, again, with the research when I was working on my doctorate. So the benefits outweigh anything working with the National Black Nurses Association. And I'm grateful for everything that everyone has ever done for me and for all of you. So Dr. Betty, I have with me tonight my two co-chairs of membership. Tammy Woods is the co-chair of chapter development, and Dr. Latoya Freeman is the co-chair of member benefits. And I believe in sustainability, and these two young ladies are very remarkable. And I would like for them to ask a couple of questions, if you don't mind, to introduce themselves.
Yeah. Where are they, Tam?
Okay,
I
Tammy.
don't see them. I don't see them.
I'm gonna make it where we can see them.
I don't see
There she
them
is.
up there.
There she is.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Betty Smith Williams.
Where?
I am Tammy Woods, and I'm the founding president of Piedmont Black Nurses Association here in Charlotte. Can you see me yet?
Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I'm so grateful to be here tonight just to glean from the wisdom that you have. I admire you and the work that you've done and your legacy. In light of the changes that you have seen in the nursing workforce that you witnessed, what advice would you give to the next generation of nurses?
Well, and the next generation?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. That's a really open-ended question. I almost don't even know how to approach to answer it, because we're so multifaceted. There are so many issues. I mean, what specifically, could you narrow it a little bit in terms of what are you interested in terms of thinking about or having a feeling about?
Yeah. Basically, how can they navigate and thrive amidst the dynamic, like you said, the shifts, amidst the dynamic shifts, and ensure not only of their professional success, but also contributing to the continued evolution of the nursing profession?
Well, there are the nursing profession, and by the way, contributing our Blackness to the dialogue and the discussion is both most important, because they need some help. I was looking over some materials the other day, and I was thinking about, us as the Black nurses and what we brought to the table and who we are, and what the Hispanic nurses have brought to the table, what the Indian nurses have brought to the table, and all the dementia, all the knowledge and the experience that and analytical ability to look at our circumstances in a broader way. The vision of the nurses who had been in control over the years has been only what they were able to see. And we give more eyes, we give more knowledge, we have a broader exposure. We think in different dimensions. How do all these people get innovative? how are Black people so innovative? How do we create all these new things? It's because we think in other dimensions and ways and analyze differently. We bring something else to the table, and they want it. They want it, and they can't just rub it off of you. You know, how are they going to get up close enough to? But it's like how do we use our special talent? And we continue to do what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I mean, I think we're on the route. We've been at it quite a few years. We've done it in so many ways in nursing and in all other fields. When you really look at the advancement of knowledge and innovation and so forth, you've got, you know, that we've stepped it up. A whole bunch of steps in all of it. I mean, and and we don't have to talk about football and baseball and all the other skills we know that we've got, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
which we do have. You have physical skills that have been, as well as mental skills. It's just fascinating when you think about it. So how do you find a niche, something that you're interested in, and work with it and work with other people, helping younger people to have their eyes opened up a little more to the dimensions and the opportunities that they're exposed to. I don't, you know, I do think that they, well, you can't do everything. You can't learn all these numbers on these cell phones and all this stuff that they do all the time and take pictures of everything. And they, you know, they're just going and doing things and still know other things. You gotta have, you know, I mean, there's some way that some balance, maybe we can help this younger generation to also continue to appreciate and understand it. What some of the other dimensions that we bring to the table. Not go for the okie doke. You know, when you go for money, that's an example. If money is your master, then you've already sold it. Yeah. You know,
So basically
that's the way I
yeah. So keeping that compassion and being driven by the compassion for nursing.
Yeah. You
Well,
got
yeah,
it.
your passion.
You got me. You got it.
I have a
Yeah.
passion for nursing.
Yeah.
Always have.
Yeah. You got it. Hi there.
So
Maria?
so I have my colleague and friend online.
Hi, Dr. Betty.
I see you. How you doing? Not talking.
I'm doing well. I'm glad you were able to get on.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying you.
You know what? They got this new stuff. I was just fussing. I was fussing about this. I said, I didn't even know how to get in here. I'm used to just punching on the Zoom, and I couldn't get on the line.
We'll do better next time.
You have to accommodate this,
Yeah, we'll do
whatever,
better.
this retarded one here.
Well, I knew something was wrong because you told me we'd be on 30 minutes ahead of time.
I was
said, let me get
here.
on.
I was sitting here in front of my computer and I can't get on. And Deborah told me she's still on it. She puts up with me. I tell her, Deborah, I can't get on the computer. So she'll call me and say, you on, Betty? And so forth. Okay.
So
But
Dr. Betty,
but I'll tell you, and we're missing something as a 90, I'll be 95 years old this summer. And next in a couple months. And to be an old lady, the hardest thing for me right now is this other language that we're always dealing with, that everybody else is on to all the time. And I feel like I'm just scrambling to catch up with them.
So Dr. Smith Williams, I have my colleague, Dr. Latoya Freeman online. She also serves on the membership committee as co-chair of member benefits. So I would like to give her the opportunity to ask her intriguing questions for tonight.
Hello, good evening, Dr. Smith Williams. What an honor to be before you and be able to take in all these nuggets that you're putting out. I tell you, it literally has been all of us standing on the shoulders of giants, right? And so, you know, we all think about what inspires us to do the work of NBNA, whether it's at the national level or the local level. So I'm curious where you get your inspiration from to do the work of NBNA.
I think that, as I said, I think I got it as a child. I got it all the time, and it's all part and parcel of the big work that we've inherited because we're Black in this society, and we have been in the situations of our family, with all the situations that we are because of our existence, that you're and I found out that you could be satisfied and enjoy, and to get satisfaction from trying to make a difference and to working on it. And that, to me, it's been the valuable thing in my life. That's really, and I was fortunate. And by that, I have mentioned my husband, Harold Williams. He was one of the founders of the National Organization of Minority Architects. And so I was working on getting the Black nurses going, and he is one of the founders. Someone say something?
Go ahead, Dr. Betty. They were just signing on. I'll mute.
Oh, I see. So we were paralleling what is happening, and I'm understanding here all these talented types who were designers and all, architects do all kind of things. And I was learning about how their mindset and how they get things going, and how they were, well, really how they're raised, how they're thinking, and so forth. And then we have the women, the people in nursing, and people in all kinds of fields. And I realized we've got a real community of support out here, and things to learn from each other. And we really grew the National Black Nurses, the National Organization of Minority Architects. They were formed like in the same 2 or 3 years. And I was at both situations. I went to Nassau to form Black Architects, and I was here. At the same time, I was active. I was a national officer in Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and I was treasurer, and I had the opportunity to get and know people like Dorothy Height. And Dorothy and I've known her since I was about, 15 years old. And I knew her all her life. And I worked with her off and on and off and on. I learned things from her and other women who were highly accomplished. Barbara Jordan was the congresswoman, was chairman of the finance committee, for instance, when I was with Delta, when I was treasurer. I got a lot of new exposures. That's how I knew Ruby G. That's how I knew, Lena Horne, all kind of people I've known through a lot of varied experience I've had, as well as I know all these. I had the opportunity to know a group of women who were white, who had brought things to the table and who had their heads maybe screwed on right. And so when you get the chance to get the exposure and to get to learn and to think and put it together, we learn from each other. We had an Operation Women Power out here back in the 60s, where we had women who were in the Jewish women, the Unitarian women, all the women in all those organizations. We were together as women power. That's what we formed. And we worked together and had, for instance, studies on poverty and what we could do to work. So there are just a lot of things I can think about that we did to try and maximize what little part we knew and put it together and trying to be helpful in some way. And I guess I wanted to do those things. I had fun doing them. I worked with them. I worked on programs. I worked on, all kinds of ways that I could do them because it was satisfying. That's bottom line.
Thank you for that. As we are all walking behind you and the steps that you and so many others have laid for us, what final thoughts do you have for us as an organization, as Black nurses, as we continue to strive in this space of excellence and moving, Black nurses to another level?
Well, I think there are final thoughts. Not quite there yet, but I think we need to keep our conversations going. I think we need to talk more about and with each other. Sometimes people get in little silos of their own and they get other things that are interesting to them. But I think that as we among ourselves need to be sure that we keep the inner age, let's keep the age and the old and the young mixed up and recognizing what they bring and what they have and so forth, and keep it nurtured by having diversity among ourselves and learning from each other. There's something about that I think that only we could bring, to ourselves. And that would be helpful, I think, to the growth of our continued growth of NBNA and of the other organizations and what we're doing. Because you never know what'll show up. It's interesting. Okay. I was teaching public health nursing. I'm a little, had taught at a Catholic girls' school, Mount St. Mary's College. I had the Black families. I had all religions, all kind of people out in the health districts where Black families and all were living. And here were these young ladies coming didn't know anything, they were a product of their environment. They happened to be the children of people who own companies and factories and they were different. They had not experienced anything. So here I was taking them on home visits. I said, well, what am I going to do with them? I went home, and of course, this was back in the day. I brought the Jets, I bought the Ebonies, I bought all the new Black newspapers that were here. I brought all that stuff to the health department and had those kids to learn what these families were exposed to. I mean, you start to use what you know and what they don't know. And it was interesting. Sister Callista Roy, you ever heard of her? Callista Roy. She had the Roy theory.
Yes.
Academicians.
Yes,
so, okay. Callista was one of my students. And so the Roy theory, she told me, they gave me an award not too long, some years ago, and told me that I was the founder of the whatever, the cultural stuff that they put in the Roy theory, because I made Callista and I made him to bring in all this material about Blacks and Hispanics and patients who that we were right in the company. It wasn't anything innovative. It was other than what they just never saw, because they were living in their own little silos. So there are little ways that we can help people. And when finally Joyce Geiger has done all that wonderful research on culture, she's done beautiful work. And something we had absolutely, before then there was none. And so she made a opening of knowledge that all of us could benefit from. And I say, just things you don't even think about. When I was, and when I had people who, um, uh, for instance, with babies and Black women and their babies and how they would care for them or didn't want to care for them or did or whatever, and whether they wanted to have the religious things came in where the contraceptives were a problem or where this was not or so forth. How do you teach them or what do you do? How do you function as a nurse? Back in that day, in the 50s, when I started teaching there, I had to say that if you're a nurse and you're visiting a family who believes in whatever they believe in, that your responsibility is to meet the needs of the family and not what your church or your religion or whatever tells you to do. And they took it up to the monasteries to get a ruling about whether the students, a nursing student, should have as a responsibility. And we had an agreement fine there because I threatened to quit. And they agreed that the students would have to provide birth control information or make sure that a nurse, somebody else, would do it so that they didn't put their own values in front of the client's value. Now, we were dealing with that kind of thing. Now, anybody can do that. But do you do it or not is the question, and how you do it. But we were faced with all kinds of trouble. And it's just stuff we know. It's not anything special or secret that you got to learn. It's putting it to work. So, how do you help anybody? You can think of a million things because you're all smart. Everybody's smart. You know that. Everybody's smart. Yeah. So I don't know. My life has just gone on and on in doing little things.
Wow. Well, this has really been a very robust discussion, Dr. Betty Smith Williams. And we have enjoyed our time with you tonight. Again, I want to thank the past presidents, Dr. Hilda Richards, Dr. Deborah Toney, Dr. Deidre Walton, Dr. Martha Dawson for being on the call tonight. And our president, current Dr. Sheldon Fields is on with us. Dr. Fields, would you say a word, greet the group tonight?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Lowe, for the opportunity. And thank you so much, Dr. Williams, for continuing to pour into us and to help uplift us. I am always in awe whenever I have the opportunity to listen to you talk about the history in your amazing career. I thank God that you're still with us.
Yeah.
I know. I look forward to seeing you in San Francisco, but I will see you
In LA.
next month in LA at the NSEMNA conference the week of March 15th. Because in addition to being a founder of NBNA, you went ahead and founded the National Coalition of Ethnic Minority Nursing Associations, which has brought together all of the ethnic minority nursing groups. And we've been working together for many years underneath your tutelage. So thank you for that. Very much appreciated.
Thank you, Dr. Fields. So again, Dr. Betty, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. We celebrate you tonight as we celebrate Black History Month. And we thank you for all those precious nuggets, as Dr. Latoya has said, And I hope that everyone on the call can take some of this information and take it back and share it. Don't just keep it, share it with some other nurses and recruit. This is from the membership committee. We need you to bring in members. Every member, bring a member. And we pray that everyone will have a safe and wonderful week. And again, we thank you for sharing with us tonight. And so it's 7:03, and we want to say good night to everyone. And again, thank you for your contributions tonight. So good night, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Good night. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Thank you, Betty.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Oh, good night.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Look at you.
Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night,
Love
Dr.
you,
Betty.
Dr. Betty.
There you are. Where you been?
Yes, I've been here listening to you. Love you.
You
Thank
didn't
you.
let me running off in the mouth.
No, we need that. Good stuff. I love it.
Of listening.
Betty, I
night,
didn't get a
everybody.
chance to thank you, but I really appreciate your mentorship from way back when. And in the beginning days of NBNA, you held my hand literally and figuratively with Constitution and bylaws and knowing how to work on a board, etc. You were there. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Thank you,
Okay,
Dr. Betty.
Teresa. Oh, hi there. Goodness.
Hi, darling. How are
Good,
you?
honey. Uh-huh.
You have
I see
passed
these,
the
these familiar faces. I said, my goodness, Esther.
Yes.
you have lit many torches and you passed the baton graciously. You are wonderful. I look forward to seeing you in San Francisco.
Be there.
Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
Right on.
Take care, darling.
Got it, girl.
Hi, Judy. It's good to see you. Looking great. This
Likewise.
is Martha.
Hey, good to be seen, right?
And
That's
yes,
what you say.
exactly.
That's all of us have to say now.
For
That
sure.
is-
For sure.
Yeah, that is so true. Yes, definitely. That is just good to see everyone that was on tonight, enjoying listening to Dr. Williams, and it's good to see other faces that we don't see all the time. This was really great.
Yeah,
It was really great.
you know, I'm glad to see them. Very good, Hester. People I hadn't seen, and
Mhm.
including you, Madam President.
Yes, ma'am. I'm still hanging around though. I'm still hanging in.
Oh, all right, we got you.
Yes. So that is great. But it's wonderful. You're looking good as usual. Looking absolutely
For
great
sure.
in that beautiful color.
Well, everybody,
Okay, we're gonna let you go.
take
All
care.
right.
Stay
All right,
well.
let's
Take
go
care.
get on. But I mean,
Okay then.
all right,
Okay.
bye-bye.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
Love you too.
Yeah, you guys take care.